I want to make a statement, if I may, to the Republicans, to every Republican in the House of Representatives. I make this pledge to you today, right here with Alex Jones. I will use the information that I have on every one of you, and I will destroy every one of you. So here's the promise, Republicans. Very soon, you're going to receive thousands of phone calls in your state office and your national office, federal office in Washington. And it's going to be people reading a script telling you that you must stop the impeachment of President Trump. They all know it's a bogus case. Everyone knows it. And if they don't, I pledge right here on the word that I gave Bill Clinton in 1990, I'll destroy you.
Larry, what's the latest? What's the big developments you've got unfolding in this world, Larry Nichols?
Well, Alex, a lot's going on. A lot's going on behind the scenes. Robert Mueller is moving at breakneck speed now. As you know, during the hurricanes, which is always what they do. When everybody's looking at the hurricanes, paying attention to that, they're slipping around in the dark, and nobody sees them. He has gone after documents in the White House. He's going after anything in the White House that has to do with Comey's firing.
And talk about rogue. They're admitting this has never been done. It's the most aggressive thing. They're grabbing stuff that aren't even in search warrants. They're demanding everybody's communiques. I mean, Mueller is the Lord High Executioner.
Absolutely. And folks, Alex, I'm telling you, it's written all over it. You can see it. They're coming after Trump with impeachment. They've got to impeach him. They've got to get him out.
I agree, but let me bring this up. Mueller is so corrupt, covering up for the Clintons, and Comey, is it the move to indict or start the indictment of Comey for leaking classified information and perjuring himself? Trump should just absolutely run over these people politically. I mean, Mueller is an arrogant sack of crap.
Well, the problem that Trump has, as you know, other than this program and alternative media, he has no voice. And remember, y'all, this is what hurts. Still to this day, probably 95 to 98% of the people in this country of voting age get everything they think they need from the news in their 6 and 10 o'clock TV news. And if that's all you use, let me tell you, if you want 6 and 10 o'clock news, Alex, you realize in those local newscasts, you get 4 to 7 minutes of national news.
Larry, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. They had deactivated 80% of the public that never watches news, who weren't even voters, weren't even involved in the political process most of the time. They're now weaponizing all the entertainment shows, putting disinfo out in those. They're activating. First, they tried to turn the public off from politics. Now they're trying to activate the zombies.
That's right. I mean, if you look at what they're doing with all of their programming, they're using programming to watch, to do what they've been doing to our kids in school. You know, it's nothing but brainwashing. If you watch the entertainment shows, you're being brainwashed. And I'm talking about the dramas, the comedies.
No, I totally agree with you, but how big is it? Why are they now coming out admitting that Trump Tower was spied on, that Trump was spied on Manafort? Because they're getting ready to try to use the phony contacts they got through those phone calls. They're about to use the wiretapping they said didn't exist.
That's right. They have to declare it because they're going to use it. They're going to use illegally obtained wiretaps to impeach President Trump. Look, we talked about it before, but Alex, it's getting serious. As you're pointing out, what you're saying right now is 100% the truth. 100%. They're all in. Guys, it's everything for them. They win, or as far as they're concerned, they lose, and it's over. They're playing every chip they got, every move they got, down to, my God, you would think the entertainment industry, just like you were talking about, you would think the entertainment industry would sit back and say, golly gee, you know, the Emmys, The programming we're doing is losing viewers left and right.
They don't care because they plan a total overthrow. I mean, you're right. Their whole posture is total overthrow. We're not backing down. They're going to try to overthrow the political realignment, bring in a Venezuelan control arm, have fake elections here on out. And how do we know that? They've said it in their elite publications, like Atlantic Monthly. And you saw Hillary 2 days ago say she still plans to overturn the election.
That's right. Look, all it's going to take is Mueller, through his fake grand jury, to bring impeachment to the House of Representatives. And they know that the Republicans in the House
are a bunch of cowards.
Are cowards, you bet. They're cowards, and the leadership, they're traitors. Now, that's why we've got a plan, the only plan that I see viable. There's nothing, Alex, you and I can do to stop Mueller from impeaching Trump. Nothing. But here's what we can do. When he takes that to the House to get them to hold an impeachment hearing, we can stop them. We can stop them cold. Because, folks, the math, I hate to tell everybody, the math is on our side.
And by the way, we got to get this going now. No impeachment of Trump, indictment of Mueller, indictment of Comey, indictment of Hillary. That's why I've told Trump, every time I talk to him, I say, sir, they're never going to stop. You've got to indict Hillary. And he knows that. And he goes to Sessions. And I know you know Sessions, and I'm going to leave it at that. Sessions has been a good guy. What is his problem?
Alex, the problem with Jeff Sessions is this. He turns around, he doesn't do the prosecuting himself. And when he turns around and hands to his people below him...
They all refuse to do what he says. They're all, because he's stuck between the Bush and the Clinton and the Obama. You're right. He's got 3 to 4 administrations of bad people in there. He's totally surrounded.
He's surrounded. The same thing happens with Trump. You know, Trump's trying to do the agenda he set forth in his campaign. But he turns around, and who's stabbing him in the back? Not the Democrats. They're doing the crap.
By the way, anybody that's ever run even a small company or a medium company knows even when you have good people, it's hard to get them all going in the same direction. Imagine tens of thousands of people that are political operatives and D.C. scum who hate you and think you're about to be gone. They are all lockstep in mutiny. So what do we, the people, do?
All right. First off, I want to make a statement, if I may, to the Republicans. To every Republican in the House of Representatives, I make this pledge to you today, right here with Alex Jones. I will use the information that I have on every one of you, and I will destroy every one of you. There is the problem, Alex, with Republicans is they're conservative, supposedly. They're moral, supposedly. They're Christians, supposedly.
And most of them, they put sex ops on them. Most of them are cheating on their wives.
And worse, cheating on their wives. I know who their girlfriends are or boyfriends. I know who their illegitimate babies are. I know which ones are alcoholics, which ones are druggies, even what their drugs of preference are. So here's the promise, Republicans. Very soon, you're going to receive thousands of phone calls in your state office and your national office, federal office in Washington. And it's going to be people reading a script telling you that you must stop the impeachment of President Trump. They all know it's a bogus case. Everyone knows it. And if they don't, I pledge right here on the word that I gave Bill Clinton in 1990, I'll destroy you. And I don't mean just keep them from being elected.
And all of us give that pledge. And you did tell them underneath that overpass down there by the river where they buried the bodies.
I damn sure did. And I'm telling them all, if you don't believe I'll do it, you better dial 1-800-BILL and Hillary Clinton and ask them.
But let me throw this out right now.
Exactly
you are 100% correct. You've been saying it for 8 months. They're going to cook it up. They never found any Russia, so now it's going to be taxes or this or that. An I you didn't dot, a T didn't cross. And they now admit that. And they're as dirty as Mueller and as dirty as Comey are with all their criminal cover-ups, Hillary doesn't get in trouble. None of them do. It's Trump with made-up crap. You're right. We can't wait to get on this impeachment once it starts. We've got to be hammering them now, every day. Hammer, hammer, hammer. You're not going to overturn our election. You're not going to just like a jury can veto a judge or whatever, we have got to have the American people know we voted Trump in, not the Russians, and we're vetoing Mueller, and we're vetoing all these traitors. They say he's evil for saying America first at the UN. They're obviously the enemies. Good Lord. That's why they're pissed, is because we have an American president. And it doesn't mean he's perfect, but he's not out to get the country, and that's why they hate him.
And Robert Mueller, don't believe that I haven't been able to acquire a whole bunch of dirt on you, buddy. Now, I know, Alex, I know they're going to destroy me, which is fine. Fine. And by the way, this isn't Alex Jones, this is me. But I swear to God, before God Almighty, I will not let y'all destroy this country. Now,
hold on, Larry. Let's come back in 70 seconds. We'll take some phone calls as well. All right, we got Kevin. Wants to talk about artificial intelligence. George wants to talk about local level involvement. Jesse wants to talk about geoengineering. Melissa, I kind of got behind here, but I'm going to be getting to your calls. Melissa wants to talk about vaccines. But all of these agendas that are going on out there orbit around the fact that if we get our country back under the control of our own government and not special interest, then we can fix all those problems. But Larry, you've seen the arrogance of Hillary thinking she was going to win, and her now saying on 3 different programs they plan to overturn the election. I hope the cowardly Republicans know, if they just read the Financial Times or the COG article out of Atlantic Monthly, their plan, or Foreign Affairs or Public Affairs, they've all 4 written articles saying the same thing. COG, bring government under a civil emergency under COG, have this shadow government then administer the new election, and then we never have a real election again. And they said all the Republicans that were in the last election will be removed and will be under a new election. And that's why Obama signed that executive order federalizing elections that all 50 attorney generals, including Democrats, said no to. I mean, this isn't as plain as the nose on your face, Larry. They've stated their battle plan.
Absolutely, but again, remember, this is what I've got to convince your audience, Alex. We have the math on our side, and Republican congressmen, you better hear this. You don't have a base of support. Donald Trump has a base. The only elections Republicans have won since Ronald Reagan was the lesser of 2 evils. President Trump owns the Republican Party in this upcoming primary. And we will pick 2 to half a dozen Republicans in the next 3 weeks, maybe 4. And Alex, we're going to burn them. We're going to burn them hard. I feel sorry for them in a way. They deserve it. We're going to prove that you can.
No, you're right. I mean, listen. Ryan's hanging on by his fingernails, but we've got to pick some mid-level ones that have been cowardly and burn them. Yes. So the others understand. You fear Soros? You better fear us, you little creatures.
That's right. Alex says right now, listening to this program today, the number of people that will listen to this broadcast today far exceeds, Alex, the numbers in the paid organization called Antifa. They have to be paid to do what they're doing. This audience does it for love of country and love of God.
Well, and it's beyond that. We're going to be conquered and dominated. People now are really starting to fight hard because they realize this is serious. It's here. Everything we've warned of, everything we tried to stop. But notice, right as they're about to crest and take over, Trump stands up, all this other stuff happens. God's given us a chance right now.
Absolutely. Every day, Alex, I'll hear from people that get hold of me. And people tell me, people I would have never dreamed would come from them. They tell me they have turned off their televisions. Some of them have said they've thrown them out of their homes. And they listen to this network, yours. That's all they listen to. Millions of people have awoken to the degree that they've thrown the damn televisions out of the house.
And the next move is just have them run for office, have them call Congress, have them do YouTube videos, and we will overwhelm the enemy. This is a total fight for our lives. LarryNichols.news, LarryNichols.news. A lot of great information there. Larry, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon. There goes Larry Nichols. Thank you, sir. Now I know, folks, Larry's awesome, and I'd forgotten I had him on. I got so wound up, I didn't even look at my call list there. Nichols live at AOL.com if you want to support him. His new book's out, Larry Nichols live. But before I go any further here, I just get behind. I open the phones up, and then I get another guest on, and then I don't get to your calls. But he's coming up, and it's Mark Dice. We're going to talk to him, and then we'll take your calls. But it'll be a nice grab bag of interesting questions that are kind of wild card for Mark Dice straight ahead. Infowars.com, newswars.com. Please spread those sites.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying.
Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.